Before the video starts, I'd like to say to you, the viewer, if you are in a YouTube binge watching session, I'd like you to take a second and just pause, because this video is actually going to teach you how to do something. It's going to teach you how to learn properly. So now that you've taken a second, this is not just some random dopamine video. We're actually going to be learning something today. Let's get into the video. What's up? So recently I decided that I wanted to start learning a lot more. I wanted to start reading more books, stuff like that, right? So the first thing I did was I researched how to learn. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. How do you learn properly? While I was looking up stuff on how to learn, these same ideas popped up. If you want to learn, you need to test yourself. You need to quiz yourself excessively, right? It's not about memorizing notes, and it's not about just like rereading notes. It's about actually trying to see what you've learned. It's about being able to retrieve information. Right, that word retrieve information, I kept seeing it whenever I searched this up. What you have to do is learn something, right? Let's say you watch a presentation or a documentary, right? And then quiz yourself. Ask yourself questions about what you've learned. So let's say that you learned that carbon dioxide is carbon and then 2 oxygen, right? Later, quiz yourself, be like, what is carbon dioxide? It's not about reading the notes, be like, oh, it's carbon and then 2 oxygens. It's about being able to retrieve that knowledge from your head. And I'm not trying to brag, but I've always been like a straight A student. So what I noticed myself doing is this exact thing. I would self-quiz myself all the time. I wouldn't memorize the notes, but I'd read the notes and then ask myself questions about the notes, and then don't look at the notes until I've answered all the questions. And what I've noticed is that it really works, right? I've always been really good at school. I've always been really good at learning things, and that's how I did it, by self-quizzing and retrieving that information from my head, which I guess they're kind of the same thing. If you want a specific example of like how to learn something, let's say you take a class in biology, right? And they teach a lesson about DNA, right? And they ask you, what does DNA stand for? Isn't it? It's something like deoxyribonucleic acid or something stupid like that. It's some big word, right? I don't know. That's probably not what it is, but it's something around that. You learn that thing. And then later, you ask yourself, okay, what does DNA stand for? Along with a lot of other questions, right? And then you don't look at the notes. You just try to think of it. If you can't think of it, then you read it. It's kind of, flashcards, that's a good example of retrieving information. You have the question on the front, and then you have the answer on the back of it. If you want the science like vocabulary for this, it's called active recall. It's like whenever you quiz yourself a bunch about a specific question or like multiple questions, when you have to recall them, that neural pathway of that knowledge, like A goes to B, like let's say for the DNA example, DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. That pathway gets strengthened, right? So when you continuously recall information, that information is more likely to stick with you. So that's why you learn that way. That's why it's so easy to learn by doing this, by self-quizzing, because it strengthens that neural pathway, if you just want the science explanation for that. Another thing that I learned about learning is that you want to, I'll just give an example, it's hard to explain. So imagine you're studying Spanish and mathematics, right? A good way to learn both of them is by switching them or putting them together, right? So as you make a bunch of flashcards and you put the Spanish ones here and the math ones here, if you put those both into the same pile, mix them up, it's better to learn like that, because you're not having the exact same questions, right? You're switching genres, or you're switching subjects. So it could be like, what does como estas mean? And then it's like, what's this trigonomical equation, right? It's by swapping those things that you get more active recall, and it just becomes a lot easier to learn because you're having to think more, right? It's not like all math questions and then all Spanish. When you mix them up, it makes you have to like think more, because you have to, okay, I'm here, I'm thinking about this, now I have to go here, now I have to go here. You get what I'm saying? By swapping up the genres, active recall just works a lot better, and your knowledge and your ability to learn those informations, or those things, it makes it a lot easier. So when you want to learn, I haven't done this personally, but I've heard about this. So if you want to learn, especially if you have multiple topics, switch them up. Like, don't do one topic at a time. If you do that, you'll still learn, right? It's not like a negative thing. It's just, I've heard that it can help you if you like interswap the terms, I guess, that you're trying to learn. So let's wrap up this whole video real quick, right? The best way to learn is through active recall. It's not about memorizing notes. It's not about rereading notes all the time, like before the big quiz. It's by learning something, right? This is A. A equals B, right? And then asking yourself, what is A? It's by self-quizzing. It's by questioning what you've learned. And it's through this questioning where you don't have any notes available, when you have to think about what the answer is, when you're like, okay, what is A? You're having what's called active recall, and you're having to recall that information. To learn good, you just self-quiz, right? Just keep asking yourself questions. That is how you learn. If you get the questions right, then good. And if you don't, then you relearn it and then ask yourself again. That's all I got. Self-quizzing, very important. Remember that. That's how you learn. Quiz yourself on everything that you learn. That's all I have. If you'd like to learn how to be saved, I have a video over here. If you'd like to learn how to start self-improvement, I have a video right here. Thank you for watching. Praise God.